messenger of fear and sight. Dark deception kills the light. Hybrid children watch the sea. Pray for father roaming free. Crawling chaos underground. Cult has summoned twisted sound. Out from ruins once possessed. Fallen city, living death. Not dead which eternal lie. Stranger eons, death may die. Drain you of your sanity. Face the thing that should not be.
Well, I would have loved to have this video up closer to Halloween, but this game came out on October 30th, and I ain't playing games for 12 hours straight. Not since the war. Anyway, this rendition of Call of Cthulhu is entirely different from Cthulhu Saves the World, which is a game that I reviewed almost 7 years ago to the day. Check it out, it's charming in an I have no idea what I'm doing sort of way. Released by Cyanide Studios, this rendition of Call of Cthulhu more closely follows the stories based on the tabletop role-playing game of the same name, and according to my research, it's been in production for almost 4 years. Well, this ought to be good. So, let's enter the mouth of madness and take a look at this thing. Say hello to Edward Pierce, private investigator, World War I veteran, doomed protagonist. Between his Prohibition-era drinking, he decides to take a case regarding Sarah Hawkins, a prolific painter who died in a fire along with her husband and son under mysterious circumstances. So, out of sheer curiosity, along with not wanting to lose his license, Edward sets sail to Darkwater Island, where he will discover the horrible truths of not just his case, but a dark secret kept by the inhabitants. So, can Edward make it out of this scenario with his life, limbs, and sanity intact? One moment. All signs point to no. So the gameplay is actually pretty straightforward. You simply go level to level and perform various investigations, ranging from talking to the locals to recreating crime scenes. Depending on which skills you level up, you'll unlock different dialogue options and potentially find more clues during your investigations. Something about this game that I did find very impressive: the more clues that you uncover during your investigations, the more of the story will be revealed. But here's the kicker. There's also the matter of sanity. The more horrifying events that Edward witnesses, along with seeing various things that should not be, his sanity will continue to slip. Oh, and this attribute only ever goes down. Interestingly, the lower Edward's sanity gets, the more options he gets in dialogue. Although these options are a bit more nutty. So basically, the trade-off for this game is, the more investigations that you do and the more truth you discover, the crazier you become. It wouldn't be Lovecraft without madness. In total, this game should take you somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 hours to complete, but with 4 separate endings, there is a decent amount of replay value. So, now for the reviewing. Haven't said that in a while. So looking at the graphics of this game, they're alright. I will say that the designs of the monsters you'll encounter are fantastic, and the environments almost take on a life of their own. Looking at the character models, however, well, the cutscenes look good. There's no major issue with the named NPCs, but many of the random inhabitants are literally identical, and during the conversations, a lot of characters' animations loop endlessly. I was going to put a strike against the game for many of the environments looking gloomy and muddy, but it's Lovecraft. As far as the gameplay, I don't really have any issues. The investigations run more smoothly depending on which skills you've leveled up, and really just how observant you are as a player. Something to keep in mind if you're interested in picking this game up, it really is a slow burn. The horror elements don't really show up until around halfway through the game, and aside from a few sequences, I personally didn't find this game to be all that scary. Also, something funny I noticed, when I was looking at the control scheme, it pointed out how to shoot your pistol. I didn't even realize that Edward had a pistol until the game was almost over. And when I did realize this, I could have strangled the guy, because that could have come in very handy earlier on. Now let's talk story. Well, it may not surprise you to hear this, but it is the strongest element of the game. From what I can tell, the narrative is a mix of various Lovecraftian tales, but they all do revolve around the Cthulhu mythos in particular. As I mentioned previously, the more investigations you complete, the bigger the picture you'll uncover. I actually really appreciate this. The game never feels the need to spell anything out to you. You could probably go through the story without really knowing what's going on. Although for the sake of Edward, that may be for the best. So, in conclusion, how do I feel about this game? I think it hovers around pretty good. It's not one of the best games I've ever played, but if you're at all interested in the Cthulhu mythos, then I'd recommend giving this game a shot.
Fearless wretch. Insanity. He watches, lurking beneath the sea. Great Old One. Forbidden sight. He searches. Hunter of the shadows is rising. Immortal. In madness we dwell.